All right. So I just have a couple questions. Um, I've been doing the juice ritual for a little over a year and I love it. Started juicing. I started juicing probably 20 years ago. So my son just turned 20 and
Wow.
I started when he was a baby.
Okay.
I just bought some centrifugal juicer and was just like throw stuff in there,
Yeah.
for fun.
Yeah.
So really that's my first question for you is what prompted you to start juicing?
Okay.
And then why did you love it so much that you grew it into your business?
Yeah, I started drinking juice about 10 years ago. So I'm 48, and I think I started when I was around 38. And I had young kids at home, and I just kind of felt like I was not feeling better with each sort of week, month, year that kind of came around. But in fact, I was feeling worse. I just didn't really feel like it kind of felt like my feet were sort of walking through mud or sand. I didn't have a lot of like effervescence pumping my step. I was just really like dulled. And so I came across a gal, her name's Natalia Rose. She's a
Mhm.
raw foodist and author. And she, you know, really said, listen, if you want to kind of like change your life and up level your frequency and your whole being, then you need to drink a lot of green juice. And so started drinking, started make like you, got a juice machine in my house and started drinking it. I mean, almost instantly I felt better. And that's why still today, I'm like, juice is magic bullet. It's like the gateway
Yeah.
into a more natural, vibrant way of living. It's not an end all be all, right? But it is a magic bullet in terms of being a gateway because you feel better instantly. And so I said, wow, how would I like help other people be able to do this? And I ran the New York City Marathon that
That's
year,
awesome.
and I went into a juice bar in New York City. At the time there were two, Organic Avenue and Juice Press. And so I happened to be close to Organic Avenue, and I said to my husband Dennis, I'm like, this is the way, this is what people are going to start doing. I mean, this is like making what I
Yeah.
do at home so available. And so I started making juice in my kitchen and I delivered it to customers. That's why it's called the Weekly Juicery, because I didn't make juice on the weekends. And
Mhm.
so over the years, people are like, why is it the Weekly Juicery? Because you're open on Saturday. But in any case, that was the original design. And I would send customers an email every day, say, you're drinking this and here's why. And it grew really fast. I didn't allow them to customize the juice. I said, listen, whatever I make, you drink. And, so we made it in mass. And in my home, the health department would die. I'd gotten up to like 80 weekly customers. I mean, it was a lot of freaking juice and sourcing the produce. And so that's when we said, hey, we'll open a first retail store. So we went down this retail store route, which has been great. And it really grew the brand and it grew the business. And, the juice industry has been the benefit of like being, media sensationalized over this last decade.
Mhm.
And now we're really moving back to kind of like this weekly juice. All things come full circle. Now we're shipping juice every week all around the country. And that's really our kind of growth plan, I think, is to reach more people that way and provide education that goes along with it, which is why, I started the juice ritual so that people can see, actually why they're doing what they're doing and really work on, some, more up leveling, growth challenges, et cetera. Because you
Yeah.
can't just drink juice. You know that. And now know that, and all your followers know that. You can't just do that. You have to constantly be kind of up leveling your frequency. So, but that's the story of the beginning.
Aw, thanks. Natalia Rose was my gateway too into
Mm-hmm.
juice and
Yes.
like you said, it just like a domino effect from juicing is totally
Yes, it
like the
is.
entrance to this
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle.
And the thing I'll say about her for anybody who's listening, she pretty much everything that she has taught me or said to me over the years has always come true. So she's really, I mean, you can count on what she says to be truth in that sense, at least as it comes to juice and fasting. I spent 2 weeks with her in her apartment in New York and really doing an advanced detox training with her. And she actually taught me how to make juice very well, and how I needed to do it in order to really make it a kind of a healing juice for fasting for people. And so yeah, I owe a lot of credit to her. And for anybody just looking for, advice on getting into this, I think her books are fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
awesome.
So you said that you before you started juicing, you felt like you were walking through mud and you feel more
Yes.
vibrant. So what are some ways that you feel more vibrant that you attribute to the juicing?
Yeah, so I actually think that, and I always, you know, like I don't want to look 28 when I'm 48. That's not, I always preface this before I say it, but I actually do feel that I'm growing younger from the inside out. I actually feel better at 48 than I did at 38. I think my skin is more clear. I don't
Yeah.
wear any makeup. I mean, I feel like my skin is not sort of aging as normal aging goes.
Hmm.
I don't have trouble with weight. I wear the same clothes that I've been wearing. I have avoided that peril that sort of finds many women in the transition of life, and you know, where you get that sort of middle age weight gain. I've avoided that, and it's not because I'm a perfect, you know, have perfect habits, but rather I never miss drinking juice. I always keep that kind of constant. And when you're doing that, you know this, and I know this too, your taste buds, you know, really do sort of stay in tune and in check with craving more of the same. And it's actually because juice works on our microbiome to sort of populate that really good bacteria, and it tells our brain to want more of the same. And there's that gut brain connection, and that more and more research is coming out about that now. And it's really true. And so I think that's probably the best thing. Like, I don't feel like I am, you know, everyone is designed to sort of age through decades. And that, to me, that's a beautiful process. But I don't feel like age is a negative thing in my life. It's actually very positive, and that's a big key kind of difference for me. And I know you probably feel the same. You know, I feel better every year that goes around. So that's kind of exciting, I think.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. So is that what you hear, positive feedback from your customers? So why do people keep coming back, and why do people join
Yes.
and stay in the juice ritual?
Because they you know, they feel better. And once you've probably experienced this too, once you start drinking juice and you get connected into drinking juice and this sort of life force energy, it's like drinking liquid sunshine. I mean, you're actually drinking the cell water from the plant. Once you do that, you can't stop. I mean, it literally is, you feel you miss it if you don't have it. And that's, you know, when you're talking about organic, well-made juice,
Right.
you know, that's a vegetable centric. It doesn't have to be all vegetables, but it needs to be mostly vegetables. You know, fruit gets a really bad rap in sort of modern diet culture these days.
Right.
But I eat fruit every day. So, I mean, maybe I'm the sort of outlier there, but I think, you know, people keep coming back because they are searching for this countenance that I believe that juice has created for me inside my body, which is excitement and you know, feeling better, not worse, and sort of like cleaning up our body from the inside out. I think that's probably the biggest reason they feel better.
Yeah. Great. And yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree. I I love and eat fruit too. My body craves eating the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it's, and I love like some of your juices and some that I make at home. I'll throw an apple. I'll throw, you know, I
Yeah.
always throw a lot of,
Yeah.
you know, citrus in there too.
Yeah.
Um, and I enjoy that juicing, but I crave to eat the fruit.
Yes. Me
And I
too. Me
think,
too.
yeah, just because it's a little, you know, it's slow. You still are getting the sugar, the natural sugar, but it's like a
Mm-hmm.
slower process. You get the benefit of the fiber.
Well, I'll tell you, I did this little stint where I wore a continuous glucose monitor
Oh yeah.
because I just wanted, and that's actually becoming something that is much more, I mean, people, even people that aren't crazy like me are starting to
Right.
do this, right? Because it's key insight to what causes your body, because
Mhm.
everybody's body is different. What causes this sort of insulin response in your body? And, you know, we want to avoid that for the most part.
Right.
And so I can tell you that eating an apple versus say having a glass of red wine, totally different on the
Yeah.
glucose monitor. And or having like a handful of, you know, pretzels or anything like that
Right.
caused a spike, whereas an apple, which has more sugar,
Right.
did not. And so to me, at least in my own laboratory, in my own body, I know that fruit is good for me. And I've really been teaching people and been working with people lately about, instead of trying to kind of follow this or that or sort of the next thing, Instead, put lots of good inputs into your body and start listening into what works.
Yep.
And that to me is food freedom. It is freedom from sort of giving your health power over to someone else, but instead kind of having that sovereignty for yourself. And I think, as I said, juice is the gateway to sort of begin that process, right? To sort of begin that kind of inner work and inner listening and inner conversation. Because if you looked at a lot of sort of modern diet culture right now, you know, and I know that people would say, oh, you can't eat any fruit. You should, you know, really avoid fruit. You can't eat any sugar. You know, it's still fruit. And it is true. And you don't want to eat 10 apples in a day, but one is certainly fine. So at least in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for me, when I started drinking juice 20 years ago. That doesn't mean I regularly have drank juice for 20 years. But now that I've more consistently over the last 4 years, and especially this last year in the juice ritual, been drinking it more, I think my body will let me know. Like I'll crave certain things. Like I'll be like, oh my God, I have got to drink some beet juice today. Or I have got, like, where is the broccoli? I think my body lets me know
what you need. And
what it
that's really
wants.
great. I mean, that's really great. And you just reminded me on the beet juice front, I just heard Dr. Stephen Gundry, who I love. He's the author of The Plant Paradox, and he was on Dr. Mark Hyman's podcast, and he was talking about how nitric oxide, which you get from drinking beets and eating foods that are high in dietary nitrates like kale, beets, actually keeps your arteries healthy. It keeps sort of the arterial plaque from building up, and it's a key molecule in our body. So you can actually spit, there are actually little test kits that you can use. I'm actually thinking of sending everybody one in the juice ritual because they're super easy, and you just spit on it and it will tell you your nitric oxide level, right? And so I always say not to be confused with the nitrous oxide at the dentist's office. Actually, the molecule of nitric oxide. And so, there's a lot of good reasons to drink a lot of plants.
Yeah.
And
speaking of that, I'll send you, there's a really good podcast that I can't remember the gentleman's name, but it is on, I think it's the Plant Strong podcast with Rip Esselstyn.
Yeah.
That interviews some guy who won like the Nobel Prize for research related to NO.
And he did, Dr. Esselstyn, he was the, like no oils, no butter. He did like the whole like institute, and his whole program is now, and lots of heart centers. Yeah, that's awesome. Yes. So yeah, I'd love that. I think, there's a lot of learning, and there's so much more information available now on how plants can heal us. And that's amazing to me. And as I said, juice is not an end all be all, but it is a magic bullet. If you're looking for a gateway into a more sort of like elevated life path, then juice is a must do. And, one of the things that is, I think, interesting about drinking juice, even though you haven't asked me this question, I think it's a really interesting concept, is somebody says, okay, so why is it a magic bullet? Like, what do you mean there? And so if Gretchen and I both eat a salad, a big, huge salad, then our bodies are different. And so your ability to absorb the vitamins, the nutrients, the enzymes from that salad and mine are different.
Right.
And maybe I had some gut permeability issues because I've not been eating the most stellar and elevated of diets over the years. And so my body can't absorb that as well. My liver can't assimilate it as well. Well, juice is a great equalizer in that game because, the insoluble fiber is gone. I'm not a fiber hater, but in juice, it's important because that allows your body it bypasses that problem, right? Your liver can perfectly assimilate the juice and use all the vitamins and minerals and enzymes without, even if you have gut permeability issues, it's okay. And so I think that speaks to why it works for everyone. And that's kind of like the sort of, now, if you have a high oxalate sensitivity or something like that going on, which you could find out from lab testing, maybe not. But for most of us, it's a magic bullet.
Right. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I love fiber, but I, totally see the value and the difference between a salad, a smoothie that gives all the fiber. I think those are awesome, and you have to have fiber, but you also have crazy immense benefits from the juicing. You need them both.
Yes. And, you can tell. So if you're new to juice drinking or you haven't done it before, you could have, say, like a cup of coffee in the morning And then if you had a green juice, you can almost feel the pH of your body adjusting.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee, beer, wine, coffee, tea, soda, super acidic, right? And we want ideally our overall body pH to be just slightly alkaline, right? And so you can actually feel your body sort of moving
Yeah.
back into that space. And it's really, it's a great feeling. And once your taste buds kind of get around this herbaceous kind of like experience of drinking green juice, you'll be hooked. I mean, you'll absolutely be hooked.
Yeah.
I believe it is just the way forward for so many people into this integrative work.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the thing about the juice ritual for me is I have a very clean, pretty healthy diet
Yeah.
99%, 90% of the time. But when I do the juice ritual, and so you would think that and I think I feel good, like digestively, my stomach doesn't bother me. I barely know it's there most days. So, but the day that I do the juice ritual, it just like up levels it, I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
tell the benefit.
Well, I
So
just asked our group, you were on our call because we do inside the juice ritual. One of the things that I am trying to do with that group is really help people say, like, listen, you're either leveling up or leveling off, right? You
yeah.
constantly have to be making these commitments into your health, and doing it with the group is really fun, right? And so we do these growth challenges every month. It's not required, but I always say, why would you not do it, right? So we're doing this sugar fast. But I did say during our call, hey, what would you think about not doing it as a full day fast? And I thought there were so many interesting comments about people saying
Yeah.
that this is sacred for them. Jan Seeley in our group has been going since October of 27. She has never stopped. She's like, this
Wow.
is a really sacred day for me, where I drink the juice and I reset myself and I get set for the month. And I just had a lot of like introspective thought about that. I was like, wow, that's really true. It is kind of the reset. I had been on spring break and it felt really good to kind of get back into a more like, okay, I'm reset. Here are the goals I want to accomplish. If you're not
Yeah.
setting goals, if you're not connected to a purpose, you're not leveling up, then, research says you don't live as long.
Yeah.
So, all those things are super important. So I'm trying to really make the group kind of like an up-leveled,
Yeah.
an up-leveled coaching
Yeah.
experience,
I think
not
it is.
just drinking juice. So
Yeah, it is for sure. Okay, so why organic?
yeah, to me, eating organic food, and I can say this with full conviction, there's no conventional anything in my house. I do not eat conventionally grown food because if we're gonna, eat a healthy salad, as an example, and it has been sprayed with glyphosate and all the sort of like herbicides, fungicides, all the things, right? Then we're asking our liver to do kind of like an overwork, right? And what we want to do is, it already has a big job
Yeah.
of filtering all these toxins out of our body. We're exposed to them in our environments, in our homes. So to add on to that year after year, day after day, week after week is just a bad mission. So when you can eat clean food, I believe you eat less of it, and you are not asking you're teeing your body up to be successful because it's already got a big job, right? To digest our food and keep our body clean. And so I'm just a big proponent of that. For juice, it's even more important. So I don't eat out that often. And the reason I don't is because I think I can make better food and healthier food at home. But
Right.
occasionally you want to go out for dinner and be served and celebrate. And so when I'm eating a salad, I'm not that girl that says, oh, excuse me, is everything here organic?
Right.
I'm going to eat the salad and enjoy myself and have a great time. I always do question if I was going to have seafood or meat, I would skip unless they could tell me the source and it was super clean. I just have salad instead. Anyway, the salad is probably, I don't know, maybe a fourth of a head of romaine. In a bottle of green lemonade, the whole head of romaine is in there,
Yeah.
and about 14 stalks of kale. So it's just so concentrated that the pesticide load in juice, excuse me, is really high. And so I absolutely say, if you are going to drink juice, if it does not have an organic seal, skip.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just not worth it. I don't care if it's local. Local doesn't mean organic. Now, there are some great local organic farms, but you really have to be discerning as a juice drinker because the return on your investment, which is already expensive for a bottle of juice made for you, there's a lot of produce in there, just goes down if it's not organic. And so again, I would just skip unless you knew the owner, you were maybe at a kind of like island juice bar where the produce is grown with a lot of integrity. There's some exceptions, but for the most part, that's really important. And also, reading your labels, which is, they're mostly plants, or at least some plants, if it's kind of a juice experience. Now a tonic is something different, but if you are looking for a green juice, then there should be a lot of greens near the top of the ingredient list, and not apples and that sort of stuff. That could be in there near the bottom, because truth in labeling requires that you list your ingredients in order of dominance into the recipe. Now, not everyone follows that, but that is the rule. So hopefully you can get an idea. And if you are drinking a green juice, it should taste like green juice. It should taste green. If it does not, then likely you're drinking apple juice with one piece of kale, because it's still going to be green. You know what I mean? Like, still going to be green. You put one piece of kale in something and it is going to turn the juice green, even if it were all green apple. The same is true with the beet. You put even a sliver of beet and whatever's in there, it's going to be purple. So I think it should taste like beet juice. It should taste like green juice. And if it doesn't, then you probably, maybe didn't get the best choice. You could try another recipe, another time. But organic to me is one of the best investments you can make in your health, and one of the best elevations that you can take on. If you're looking to kind of up level, switching over to organic is one of the best things. And so one of the questions I get a lot, and maybe you too, is like, oh, it's too expensive.
Right.
Actually, it's not. It's not. If you are willing to, be a discerning shopper and maybe go to a couple different stores. So I sort of know what's available organically at Kroger, and then what I have to get from Whole Foods, or Costco is a great source. And I also believe that we eat less when we are eating foods that are full of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, and they're not compromised with all the sides and all of that stuff. Then you are more satisfied more quickly.
Yeah, I found that too.
Yeah, I mean,
from Whole Foods. Yeah, from eating the whole foods.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
It is. It's really something else. Right now, we're doing Whole30, so I find that you sometimes that's a little bit of adjustment period if you haven't been been as strict, which I had not, because I'd been on spring break. And so this week has been a little bit of an adjustment back, but I do notice almost instantly that I feel so much better. Because like you, I think I eat a pretty healthy diet 90% of the time, but what I let creep in are what I would call healthy, not whole foods. And so that would be things like Lesser Evil. This company makes grain-free snacks, and I love them because I eat, for the most part, no grains. It doesn't suit me. I'm not saying all grains are bad. It just doesn't suit my system. And so I don't eat any grains. So these are made with cassava flour, a clean oil. They don't use any inflammatory seed oils. Well, I mean, I could eat the whole bag, like at a time. Well, while that is technically a Whole30 approved sort of ingredient list and food, it's not a whole food. And so it's really not, quote, allowed on the Whole30. So I mean, I was like, oh man, I really miss it. And I did have 2 yesterday, and I said, okay, I'm only gonna have 2 and put the rest of the bag. I was already had them, right?
It's hard.
Yeah, it's so hard. Yeah. So but once you make the transition to Whole Foods, that's what you want. That's what you want. And my 18-year-old daughter, she did the Whole30 last month, and is really still in that eating plan. And she says, she feels better than she's ever felt. So even younger people, which are great, you feel better. You don't have as many gut permeability. You can heal your gut with Whole Foods. So if you're somebody who's struggling with that, I say the first step is you transition to organic foods and you eat all whole foods. And once you take out all those big allergen triggers, you'll know exactly what the problem is. Exactly. So.
And I told my husband on spring break, he has never been more attractive to me than when we just got there and he was like, okay, I'm going to make the grocery run. And he came home and everything was organic. I was like, you have never been more sexy to me in 32 years I've known you.
Yes, I agree. I always say if somebody else is going to the grocery, don't get it if it's not organic. Just skip it. Like I'll send a grocery list and I'll say organic or none, organic or none. I just have to keep reminding that. And I personally feel that it is getting less expensive to eat organically because more farms are doing it. And if you're willing to spend some time at it, you can keep your grocery bill almost in check. I really believe that. So we should do like a we should do like a how to, really make that transition. Cause I can't say enough about how important I think that is.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I do sometimes meal plan, before we go. But
Yeah.
then if they don't have organic of what I need, then I'm like, oh, damn it, I got it. So sometimes I'll just go and buy what looks really good and organic and then come home and kind of meal plan from there,
That's
or
actually a
throw
good way
out,
to do
hey,
it.
that meal's not going to happen. So I'm going to replace it with this.
Yeah, that's actually a good, that's actually a good way to do it because, seasonally different things are available organically and the way you
Yeah.
do it is actually better. I do get a CSA from Elmwood
Hmm.
Stock Farm and they're certified organic. And so that kind of forces me to be creative in the summer. It's starting up again. And so I'm
Yeah.
excited for that. It forces me to be a little more creative. But I tend to be somebody who I'm pretty diligent about planning on Sunday the meals for the week and what we're going to have for dinner. And what a tip that I love is if you are a meat eater, I know that you're not, but if you're a carnivore, or you eat seafood, whatever,
Hmm.
getting it frozen, like Elmwood Stock Farm, they're certified organic. They do all their own. So like knowing the source of your meat, very important in the
Yeah.
animal treatment. And then also getting it frozen because it allows you so much more flexibility.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is for something like that you've spent, good money on to go
Right.
bad. And so I find getting wild caught Atlantic salmon from Whole Foods in a bag that is frozen is really free. It allows a
Yeah.
lot of
Great
flexibility.
idea. That's
And
awesome.
then I plan my meals and then sometimes I even order my groceries. I have found, someone said, oh, that's really expensive. Not for me because it keeps me out of the aisles where I'm just like, oh, Lesser Evil has a new flavor. Let me pile that into my cart. Or, oh,
Right.
somebody like Quinn makes this grain-free pretzel. I mean, it's what dreams are made of. I mean,
Yeah.
it is. They are so good. I think it tastes like a regular pretzel. I don't even know how they do it. It's a company called Quinn, Quinn. And if you are thinking grains are inflammatory for you or you wanted to try that out, it is amazing.
Is it at
So,
Whole Foods? Okay.
and I also order them online. And like I said, it keeps me out of that
Yeah.
mode. Because, like I said, I'm really trying to focus on this time doing the Whole30, really not going for those like substitute foods that are
Right.
Whole30 approved. And the Whole30 rules actually tell you not to do that. But every time I've done it before, if it were Whole30 approved ingredients, I would allow it. And this time I'm trying to really follow the rules because I have a group of people doing it with me.
Yeah.
So that's more fun. So I'm trying to really be thoughtful about that. And again, it's progress, not necessarily perfection, but I'm really working hard to to do that because Annie, my 18-year-old, was very strict about that. She followed the rules to the letter of the law.
Good for
And
her.
she said, Mom, I think I had better results because you did the cheat foods in, and I'm like, oh, I think you're actually right. So this time I'm trying to follow the rules a little bit better.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. So, what is the role of juice in a healthy lifestyle? So, where do you recommend people have, one a day, have it your first thing a day, do a 1 day fast a month, tell me how you
yeah.
think that fits into a healthy
So that's
lifestyle.
a really good question, and one that I myself have been pondering as I'm like leading, groups of people. And to me, the best place to start is to have one juice a day. And actually have a new program that I'm going to roll out in May, which is the Juice Experience, where it's one juice every day and one Chasing Good Health Habit, my 5 best.
Hmm.
And so I teach you about the juice you're drinking and this Chasing Good Health Habit. So you leave the week with kind of the why, the how, and a lot of sort of 5 new strategies that you can do from your home to kind of elevate your lifestyle. And so one juice a day is a place to begin. And I always say juice is most powerful on an empty stomach.
Hmm.
Sort of would not be long, or the return on your investment would go down after a slice of pizza, say.
Right.
So you would want to have juice on an empty stomach. I like helping people at least begin kind of an intermittent fasting experience by
Hmm.
way of using juice in the morning because typically speaking, juice does allow for you to stay at digestive rest, right?
Mhm.
Unless it's 100% apple juice. And then, you're going to get that insulin. But for the most part, high quality juices are going to keep you in digestive rest. There is lots of opinion on actually what breaks a fast, and it depends on who
Right.
you're talking to, or what influencer is actually talking about it, or what. But the idea is juice does not require your body to do a lot of digestive effort. You can remain at digestive rest. And so I like to say, hey, everyone, have a big glass of water in the morning, then your coffee or your tea, and then your juice, say around 9:30 or 10. I think that's a good place to start if you're new to drinking juice.
Mhm.
And then you have a great lunch and a dinner. And there is also room for a juice in the afternoon if you're more of I kind of have a lull in my day around 3:34. Well, that's 3 hours after your lunch. You could
Yeah.
enjoy juice there as well. But I like it in the morning. I think it sets the tone for your day. I think it sets kind of the healthy intention for your day. And generally speaking, if you have a nice green juice in the morning, you don't want to eat junky food for the rest of the day. You're
Right.
really set for the day. Your taste buds are kind of in line with craving more plants. You want to have an apple for lunch. And so I feel like it really does beget those next healthy choices. I also, obviously, I'm a big proponent of fasting. I think we can fast and really heal ourselves in that way.
Mhm.
And so I do think doing a 1-day fast from time to time is important. I do it every month with the Juice Ritual folks. In fact, I do a 24-hour fast every Monday. I enjoy dinner on Sunday night, and then I have juice only on Mondays until
Mhm.
dinner on Monday night. And I think it's really important. Again, our body spends so much time doing kind of the digestive burden. If you want to think about it like the analogy of our home, every day we all have to do the laundry and fold the towels and do the dishwasher and sweep the floor and maybe clean the windows, of your front door and your back door. But every week you're not cleaning your attic, and you're
Right.
not cleaning your basement every week. You're just not doing that, right? Well, the same is true. Our body every day, liver filtering out all the toxins from our body, our liver and our kidneys, right? Our digestive system is moving and moving and moving. Most of us eat too much, too often, in the wrong food combination, which makes digestive burden even more. And remember, it's doing this for us, this important function, 7 days, it's 24/7, like it's
Yeah.
on the regular, right? It never has a break.
Never.
So when we can give our body that fasting break, give our body some high quality juice, it's nature's perfect fuel source, then our body can say, oh shit, I don't have to do all my daily housework
Right.
today. I
Shoo.
can look at the basement, or I can look at the attic. And if there's any place that I can repair, I can spend some time doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for good health. So fasting for a day, 24 hours, I think is something that everybody should work themselves up to, unless there's some reason that fasting wouldn't be for you. But I think most people can really benefit from a 24-hour fast.
Yeah, I agree. And I found that myself. Okay, so what else does the weekly juicery offer? My daughter and I are such frequent flyers there.
Yeah.
I go to the Palomar one, and she hits the one downtown. So I love everything. I think I've had literally everything on your menu
Yeah, yeah.
and
Well, if
love
you're
it all.
local and you live in Lexington or Louisville, we do have a retail juice bar locations where you can get juice right out of our cooler. Um, we also deliver nationwide and or in Lexington, so it's free delivery and it's free shipping. So you can pick your favorite 6 juices from our menu, and we'll get them right to your doorstep. We offer acai bowls and smoothies and smoothie bowls. So we use, really high quality adaptogens
Mhm.
and superfoods, again, to teach people about, the quality of ingredients going in is going to impact, kind of the quality of the
Yeah.
outcome. So we do all those things. We, are kind of moving into the sort of integrative coaching space. So if you're somebody who says, wow, I really do think that I need an up level in my frequency. I don't like this feeling of the rat running on the wheel and kind of like my feet dragging through mud or sand. I kind of lost this effervescence about I'm not
Right.
aging with a youthful countenance. Then maybe you would enjoy our 52 weeks of Chasing Good Health program, which after much long work is finally ready. So the video
Woo!
editing is, in progress, and that's a lot of work, editing 52 10-minute videos. But anyway, when they're done, it will be ready to go. And it's essentially my 52 best practices. They really are practices. It's things we practice, right? To help you live this elevated lifestyle. And most of them are free. There are a few things like buy a tongue scraper, but so minimal investments. And it comes with a worksheet and sort of a tracking sheet, and then a video every week with me explaining why the practice is important and how to do it. And again, these are simple strategies. But if you think about kind of the habit stacking idea where, you know, most people believe that it is this one big change, right? This one big decision that we make in our health journey that has the biggest impact on our overall health. And I don't believe that's true. I believe that it's the sum of the small choices that we make on repeat that has a much bigger impact. And so when you think about learning 52 things, even if you don't want to do all 52 of them, if you do 20, you are exponentially in a better place of health than you are. But 20 is better than none all day long.
All day, yeah.
And so much more sustainable. So it's why this work has been important to me. It was a long project because it's not my sort of regular thing, right? But I do feel like it is going to help a tremendous amount of people. And for that, I'm really excited about it, because so many people don't recognize that, hey, if you don't scrape your tongue, all that stuff is going right back into your body, and your body's got to do it again. And so like a tongue scraper is $2, right? After you brush your teeth.
I will say about tongue scraping, my God, once you do it once, you will never skip it.
Never skip. If you forget it when you're on vacation.
Literally not once.
Yeah, because you see the amount of gunk coming off your tongue in the morning, and that's just getting reabsorbed right back into your system. And so just small things like that, very small, cold shower, and not maybe every day, but occasionally, being outside more than inside. I mean, anything that you can do to be outside more than inside, much better for you, right? Very small, simple things that people can do. And again, the idea is that they're learning these, they're practicing these, they're stacking them on top of each other. And so, yeah, we're starting into that space. I'm going to start doing some private coaching this summer. So that's exciting. I'm finishing up my integrative health practitioner training. So I'll be done, and I'm going to take on, you know, a few less than 5 private clients that really do want one-to-one help making this lifestyle switch. So it's going to be a fun summer.
Awesome. That's so exciting.
And we're making
thank you for your time. And I'll put for my GoalFit members, I will put links below to juice delivery, to information about the juice ritual.
And I can send you. Perfect. And I can send those to you if you need them. But thank you so much for having me. It's like one of my favorite topics. Juice is like, you know, the best. So
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Kimmye. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. See ya.